All right, you guys, welcome back to part 2 of making your own Whispering Pine beaded earrings. I have a quick disclaimer. So before we get started on the second step, we are going to be handling porcupine quills, and I ask that you please handle with caution the quills. When you are picking them out of the do-it-yourself kit, just please do not grab the entire bag and put pressure on it. Just grab it from the top, anywhere that you see that does not have any barbs that could be potentially poking through and hurting your fingers. These are very sharp barbs and they do stick in your skin, and it is not fun to pull them out. Another disclaimer as well is to please dispose of them in a safe way immediately after use, and also to handle with caution around children and animals and food. Any of your food and beverage, any children and animals, please do not put these porcupine quills near any of those things. We do not want one flinging into your drink by accident when you're clipping and then you taking a sip. We do not want any children grabbing onto them or animals. It's just a bad idea. These are a beautiful resource to have for making jewelry, but we do want to handle them with caution. So just make sure and keep that in mind when you're handling them, to treat them with respect, and make sure to discard of any sharp barbs and keep them away from children and animals and any food and beverage or anything that could cause you any sort of danger or discomfort. All right, that being said, let's begin. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to take out your porcupine quills safely from the bag, and you're going to pick out about 5 or 6 really nice porcupine quills, just a nice little bundle that you think look well in about the same width and length as each other, and you're going to stab them into that little piece of either leather or pellon that I have in your kit for you. So I put that little scrap in there so that you can stab the barb into it, so that when you're clipping them, they don't fling all over the place. So just like I'm doing in the video here, just grab the quills and poke them through the pellon so that they stick with the dark barb side down. And you're going to carefully snip the top so that it's about right where the quill starts to widen to the dimension that it is. So you don't want to snip it off where it's still super pointy. You want to snip it off right at the base of where it's the nice thick quill. And you are going to go to your trash can or any sort of safe place, and you are going to clip the back side as well. As you can see here, I am measuring mine out to show you guys, but you can make them as long or as short as you want, but you're going to be clipping them. If you want them to be just like mine, I did mine about 1.5 inches long. So you want to clip them to be 1.5 inches, just like that. I went to my trash can and I just carefully clipped them right over it. The back side's not as sharp, but still, you guys just handle it with caution. Now we are going to continue picking up 14 of them, or actually, if you're really ambitious, you can do all 28 of them. So you're going to do 28 of those 1.5 inch ones. I usually like to do at least 1 or 2 more per earring, because I like to make sure if I have one that is not going to work out, that I have a spare. So I will clip, probably, if I have 28 that I'm going to be cutting, I would cut 30. And make sure that they're all, similar sizes. But once again, these are your earrings, so you can do whatever you want with them. Next step that I'm doing right here is I'm taking them and doing the same exact thing I just did, but I am going to be doing the 6 porcupine quills that are in that top middle section of the fringe, the tiny part, and I am snipping it to, I think I did 3/4 inch. I will show you here in a second once I measure them out. I believe it was 3/4 inch, and you can see how I had enough room to kind of just like pinch the back side and then clip them off on the front, and that's totally fine because there's nothing sharp right there. So let's see. Yeah, it's about 3/4 inch. So I want you to clip 7 of those times 2. So you're going to do 14. So clip 14 of those and then clip 30 of the 1.5 inch, and I will meet you in the next step. Okay, so right here I am just showing you quickly how to measure out your quills to make sure they're all pretty much the same size. This is just another way that I do it. I don't usually use the measuring tools. I just kind of clip them to whatever length I feel like is nice, and then I take one of the ones that are already sized, and I place the dark side on the opposite side of the ones that are going to be clipped, so that you have kind of like a natural marker on where to cut them to. So if you can see how I kind of reversed it so that I had the black tip facing the back side, the white side, so that when I snip it off, it's easy to see. And there you go, guys. That's another way to make equal quills. All right, you guys, we are on to the fun part, adding the fringe. Woohoo! So what you're gonna do is you are going to look at the Whispering Pines earrings pattern, and you'll see there's a color coordinated pattern on there with a key in the upper left hand corner explaining which material is which color it symbolizes. So the first part that we're going to do is we're going to pick up the 10 9 3-cut beads. So I am picking those up, and remember they're all a little bit different sizes, so it might vary just a little bit, but I just find that to be what adds to the character of the earrings. So no worries, and if there's one that you don't like, just take it off and put a different one on. Okay, so the next step is to grab the black code, which is the African brass folded tube bead. And these are handmade beads, so sometimes they aren't completely folded closed. So you might have a fluke in one, and what you're going to have to do is just make sure that they are secure, and if it's one that has a little opening, then just choose a different one. I left you with plenty of extra ones, so you shouldn't have any problems there. Now the next step is going to be to add 3 more of the 9 3-cut beads, a porcupine quill, and then 3 more of the 9 3-cut beads after that. And so with the porcupine quill, I have a little technique that I do where I take, so I mean, you could have the black part facing either way. You could do whatever you want. These are your earrings. I like to keep it on the bottom. Just, I think it looks really nice that way. So I'll go through the white part, and then did you see how I kept my thumb kind of gripping the bottom as I pushed up with the needle? I feel like if you have your hand on the middle of the needle while you're pushing it, or on the middle of the quill while you're pushing the needle through, it could, sometimes I've gotten my thumb stabbed by doing that, and it also adds pressure to where it makes the needle have a more difficult time passing through. So I like to just grip it from the bottom and push it through. And then you're going to grab the 3 more 9 3-cut beads, and now we're going to grab one of the really pretty diamond cut beads, the little mini ones, and then we're going to do 1 more 9 3-cut bead, and then we're going to do a folded brass tube bead like you see me doing right there, and then we're going to do 1 more 9 3-cut bead, and then I will explain to you what the pink means. So the pink is the same bead as what I'm picking up right now, but it's just a code for how many are going to form the loop for the finished end. So I grab 3 of the 9 3-cut beads, and now I'm going to pass through all the beads that I just went through. So this might look confusing, but you can always pause the video and just keep rewatching it. So see those 3 beads that are the pink code? Those form that really nice little end right there. And now I'm going to pass back up through the porcupine quill, and then I'm going to pass through the remainder of the fringe. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass up through that first ladder stitch row, the one that we just went through, and then I'm going to come back down through the second so that I can be ready to string my second row of fringe. Okay, so now that we completed our first row of fringe, we're going to go back up through that first row ladder stitch, and we're going to come back down through the second row ladder stitch so that we can begin fringe number 2. Yeah, sometimes the string gets stuck like that, so I just take my needle and just kind of like wiggle it loose and then pull it back to where it's supposed to be. And now we are ready to do part 2. Make sure that when you're doing your fringe, when you are being ready to do the next row, that your first row is has the right amount of tension. You don't want it to be pulled too tight to where it's all wrinkly and not loose and good to be, you know, flowing nice, but you also don't want it to be loose enough to where you can see the strings on the top. So just make sure that you that the tension looks nice. And now you're going to be picking up 12 size 9 beads. We are going to be increasing the beads by 2 for the top section per row for 4 rows. So I got 12 beads, and then I'm going to be repeating the pattern exactly the same as the first row. So I will walk you through it again, and then I'll speed up this process so you don't have to hear me talking this whole time. So we just did the 12 beads, and then we picked up 1 folded tube bead, 3 9 3-cut beads, and then now we are putting on a porcupine quill. And another thing to point out too is that sometimes the beads, because they're different sizes, you might pick up a couple that are really big compared to some that are small in the prior row. So I mean, I say 10 beads and then 12 beads and then 14 and increasing it by 2, but really just do as many as you think looks nice to make that gradual flow of the length per fringe. So if you want to take off a bead, it's not a big deal. They are completely customizable. So there, I think I did 13 beads. I accidentally picked an extra one up, so I undid it, and then picked up the tube bead, the 3 size 9 3-cut beads, and now I'm doing a porcupine quill. And now I'm going to do 3 more size 9 beads, and then I'm going to pick up 1 mini diamond bead. I just made a mistake right there. I'm going to end up switching it again because I'll realize that I made a mistake. So yeah, you're going to want to just do, after the porcupine quill, 3 size 9 and then 1 diamond cut bead, one of the tiny pretty brass ones, and then you're going to do 1 of the size 9 beads, and then you're going to finish it off with the loop of the 3 size 9 beads, and then you're going to pass through that second row and then go back up through the second row and then back down through the third so that you can begin your third row. So you see how I picked up the 3 beads, and now I'm going to be passing back up through where I came, and those 3 beads are going to hold everything in place. Passing back up through the porcupine quill, and now I'm going back up through the rest of the beads in this row. And let's see what I'm doing here. Oh yeah, I'm just going back up through. And make sure also, you guys, that you double check your work, because sometimes you might accidentally skip going through a bead and you'll have like an exposed string. So just always check your fringe to make sure that all the string is completely, buried inside the beads, and there's no strings that are exposed. So you see I passed up through that ladder stitch that we just were working on, and I came back down through the third ladder stitch to begin the third row. And right here I have enough string to do one more row, and then I'm going to tie it off, and then I will add a new string to finish the rest of the earring. So I'm going to speed through this third row, and then I will show you when I tie the string off. Okay, so here's a quick tip for you guys. I am still working on the third fringe row, but I am putting my porcupine quill through, or my needle through the porcupine quill, and you see how it's kind of hard for me to pull it through. So what I do is I take my round nose pliers and or whatever pliers that you have on hand, and I will just pinch the tip of the needle, not the super tip to where you're going to dull the needle, but just right there. I'll gently grip it and then pull it through so that it's easy to get through. So that's just a quick tip for you guys. And now I am finishing the third row, and I guess I'll just stay on here now because I am pretty much ready to show you how to tie off this fringe. So I'm going to pretty much be doing the exact same thing as I have done that I showed you guys before with the triangles, how you tie off your string. But sometimes I like to weave through the actual ladder stitch instead of where the brick stitch is. But I weave through back and forth. It just depends on where I think it'll look nice and flush and you won't really see all the passes. Also keep in mind to check the tension of your fringe before you tie it off, because you want to make sure it's not too tight or too loose, to where it's just right, to where the fringe flows really nice and smooth without exposing any string or just pinching and having bent, just really not pretty fringes. So I'm doing the normal pass through, and then I'm going to clip it off. And I am going to restring another thread the size of my arm, and I'm going to add the beeswax to the string, and then I'm going to add the string on exactly how we've been doing. And I'm going to come out on the fourth row so that we are ready to do our fourth fringe. Okay, you guys, so I jumped ahead a little bit to save you guys some time, and I did the fourth row because it is the exact same pattern that we've been doing with the increase of 2 beads. And now we are on row 5. So the difference between this row and the rest of them is that you have your middle quills that you're going to be picking up. So on the pattern, I have where you pick up 5 of the beads. This is completely customizable. It depends on how long you made your porcupine quills. So mine were 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to string that on to make sure that it looks nice, to where I can still add a couple more of the dark blue size 9 3-cut beads. And yeah, so that ended up being a good amount. But you can customize them to however many above or below that you want. The pattern that I sent you with is not exact for the bottom amount of beads. It's just based on your preference and how many beads it takes to gradually, increase the length of the rows with the brass folded tube beads. So you just really want it to look nice and flowing into a normal V shape. So just do as many beads as you need. That being said, the rest of it is exactly the same, and so I will just let you go through and continue on until you get to row 5, 6, 7. So once you get to row 7, then you will be repeating the same exact step on row 8, and then from row 8 all the way to the end of the earring, you're going to be decreasing the beads. So you'll be decreasing them so that they match and they are symmetrical with the other side. So I will meet you guys at the end when you're done following the pattern, and I will show you how to tie everything off and to complete your Whispering Pines. Woohoo! All right, so at this point, you should have yourself a beautiful Whispering Pine earring that you made yourself. And you are just going to take your ear hook, your round nose pliers, and you're going to push the opening. You're going to push the ear hook to the side so that you have a small opening. Don't pull it so that you warp the circle, just push it so that you make a small opening. Now you're going to take your earring and you're just going to string it through whichever side you want to be the front. And you guys, you just close it off and you have yourself a beautiful handmade Whispering Pine earring that you made yourself. How cool is that? I am so proud of you for finishing and having the patience to learn this. I really hope that you enjoyed this tutorial, and I really hope that this inspired you and that this makes you want to learn to make your own designs and also to keep doing do-it-yourself kits. My whole point with this is to teach and inspire and to share, and I really hope that I am doing that and I'm getting the message across in the right way. I'm by no means a professional instructor or teacher. I just have a passion for what I do, and so I just hope that I am instructing properly and that you guys are having a good experience. If there's anything that you have any suggestions on just ways that I can improve these tutorials or things that I left out that you'd like me to better explain, please email me and let me know. Also, please email me all of your photos of your finished kit earrings. I just cannot wait to start getting those photos of you guys rocking your earrings, and I just hope that I can just, share them with, on social media and stuff, just all of you guys with your finished projects. So I thank you once again so much for supporting my business and doing this MIAKODA do-it-yourself kit. Like I said before, these are my patterns that I've made, and I just really appreciate you respecting that and just using it for inspiration and to have fun, but not to resell or copy or claim. So I thank you so much, you guys, and I love you, and I hope that you're having an amazing day. God bless, and I hope to see you in the next tutorial. All right, bye.